Hello, Marty. Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Genki?
元気ですよ。日本語大丈夫ですか？
Chotto dake.
いいんじゃないですか。Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Indonesia.
How cool. I was just there.
Yeah, I saw some of your videos on Instagram. How was the traffic?
That was fun, man.
I bet, yeah. So, where are you right now? You're in Tokyo?
I'm in Tokyo, yeah.
What part of Tokyo are you in?
I'm in Nishi Shinjuku.
Oh, nice. That's the one with the Godzilla on the top of the cinema?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess starting off, I know that you were inspired by Kiss to get a guitar, and obviously they're a great band, but what was it about Kiss that really done it for you?
It was kind of athletic. At that time, when I was in my very early teens, I was really into sports. American football, baseball, hockey, basketball, everything. But I was just no good at any of it, too small and too skinny to really think about it. And then I saw Kiss and I'm like, wow, this is kind of athletic, but it looks like something that I could do, unlike football. So that was really a big factor in it.
So you actually saw them live in concert?
Yeah, I saw them live a bunch of times when I was a kid, yeah.
What year was that in?
First time was Rock and Roll Overture. And so that must have been around 76 or 7. And then I saw them on pretty much every tour from then till they started changing members. And then I kind of fell off the boat.
They were the sole reason why you went out and got a guitar?
Yeah, at first, definitely. Definitely the biggest stimulation to do that.
Do you remember the first riff you ever played when you got a guitar?
Nah, it's probably something from Kiss or the Ramones or something like that.
So you were, I think, one of the first guys to be signed by Shrapnel. So how did that come about? Because that's like a legendary label now.
I was teaching guitar, and one of my students told me that there was a label looking for unknown guitarists, and so I sent this label demo tape that I had made, and they really liked it and asked me to join their label.
And I think at the time, guys like Yngwie and Sean Lane were signed too. Did you ever get a chance to meet Yngwie or Sean?
Actually, I was way before those guys.
Yeah, I think you might have actually been the first one, I think.
I think the first album that I did with them was like the 6th album that they actually released. It was really early, and I've never met either of those guys. And a lot of the Shrapnel guys I didn't really know. I was always kind of in a different part of the country or whatever.
So when was the first time you met Jason Becker?
Jason was suggested to me by the Mike Varney who runs Shrapnel Records, and he said, you got to check out this kid, he's really good. And I wasn't interested, to be honest with you, because I was really just concentrating on making my own record, and but once I did meet him, I just absolutely fell in love with him, and
Yeah.
I said I want to make a band with this guy, and that's how it happened.
So how long after then did you actually form the band? Pretty much straight away?
Yeah, actually I pretty much done my own solo album, and I met Jason, so I said, well, I'm going to try to find a way to stick him in this solo album and use some of his stuff and make a band out of it. And so I had him contribute as much as he could, and by the second album we got more of a team going. The first time it was mostly stuff that I had already prepared.
And how did you guys come up with the name Cacophony? Where did that come from?
It's a label. We were just we were so into the music, we didn't really want to be bothered with things like band names or lyrics or anything like that.
Yeah,
It was
true.
kind of childish, though.
Do you still keep in touch with Jason or Jason's family?
Absolutely, absolutely, and we've even collaborated very recently on. I played a bunch on his new album,
Yeah.
and I co-wrote a song for one of my recent albums called Inferno, and yeah, we're still in touch.
Like, it's so inspiring, like, to see him and, see how he sort of composes with his eyes and all that stuff. It just amazes me.
Yeah, have you seen the movie?
I've seen the movie. It's sad, but at the same time, uplifting. Like just how he can carry on that way. Like it's so uplifting to me.
Yeah, it's definitely inspiring.
So I think with Cacophony was the first time you went to Japan, right?
Absolutely.
What was your first impressions of Japan?
Oh, it was great. I mean, that's why I'm here now. The
Yeah,
first time I went there, I wanted to show the staff that I appreciated how hard they worked. So I decided to learn a little bit of the language just to make a gesture, and they just kept, what's the word? I keep forgetting my English, actually.
that's actually the same problem I had when I was out there trying to learn the language. Is that my English was actually getting worse slightly. I found.
It does happen. It does. Do you speak Indonesian?
I don't. I've tried, but I couldn't even master Japanese, so time to go for Indonesian.
When you get immersed in another language, you definitely forget some of the original language just because you don't use it as much.
So how young were you when you were actually starting to learn the language?
I never really officially decided to start learning the language. I just like slowly, as a hobby, picked up a few words here and there. And then the more I did that, the more I got into it. And then next thing you know, I was really speaking it. And
Yeah,
I never had a proper training. And had I had that training, I might have learned a whole lot faster. But I was always just kind of doing it as a hobby. And then once it got serious and I was doing a lot more activities related to Japan, I just found myself getting better. But, some guys who go to college and learn properly are just, they whiz right through it.
yeah. So what advice would you give sort of new beginners who are trying to learn the language? Because as I said, I tried and failed miserably. So,
Well, the best advice is to be in a situation where only Japanese can be used. Survival situations. I mean, there's only so much you can do from your own country where as soon as you stop studying, you're back into your own language.
true, yeah.
If you're in a situation where you need Japanese to eat or to sleep or anything, then it's going to stick a lot better. So, a homestay is a good thing to do. Exchange student programs are good. But you kind of got to be creative, if you can't have the luxury of going to the actual country. But there are things you can do on the internet with people, with language exchanges. But by far the best way is to be in the country where you want to learn the language.
Yeah, and try and force yourself to use it in those situations.
You have to because nobody speaks English here.
Yeah.
And like it will surprise you because if you go to Europe, everybody speaks really good English, and if you go to Scandinavia, they speak better English than we do. So,
Yeah.
so people expect it's the same way in Japan, and then they get here and they're like, "Oh my God, no one speaks any English,"
Yeah.
and then the signs are not in English, and there's no street signs, and the street signs are not in any kind of English. So it forces you, and that kind of makes you learn fast.
True, yeah. Because I lived there for about 2.5 years, and I think the problem that I had was I made a lot of English friends because I was going to a school, and whenever we were together, we would use English, which was obviously the mistake, I think.
That was it. That was
Yeah.
it. And the other thing that guys do is they get a girlfriend who speaks English, and then you're pretty much toast.
Yep. That's exactly what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And there's some guys who are just totally fine with that. But this is when it comes to actually just talking about learning the language. Those are the two major things that will kind of stunt your growth in that
Yeah.
respect. But it absolutely is totally fine either way. But comes with the language, you you have to completely think in the other language, and
Have you ever taken the JLPT or no need?
I didn't take that one. When I was on tour in America, I would take these courses from the University of Oklahoma, of all places, and they would send me tests, and I'd have to go to some college campus somewhere and be watched by a teacher to prove that I wasn't cheating while I take the
Oh,
tests.
right, yeah.
And so I did that, for a couple of years when I was on tour, but I never really had really proper training. So even now that I'm fluent, but my Japanese is like my guitar playing. It's very it's not proper. It's not orthodox.
Unorthodox, yeah.
But it works and gets the point across.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't, if you analyze it, it's like this guy's fucked up. This guy's not doing it right, but it still works, and that's really all that matters.
And even the no tipping thing, which to me that's pretty cool, but that's obviously a Japanese thing. And
That's a brilliant. That's absolutely the best thing. There's no reason why a customer should have to do kind of mathematical equations deciding how much they should tip. They shouldn't have to judge the service. They should just enjoy it, and the price should include that service. I mean, the employer should pay the employees more and take the burden off the customers. Let the customer pay more, but why make the customer do the work of analyzing how good the service was and doing mathematical percentages? And the guy's on a date, why should he have to think about that stuff?
very true, yeah.
So,
and it's almost like an insult to leave a tip.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. And I just think it's a system that is really wonderful. And I hope that someday it takes off in other countries and like American. They have tipping in the UK.
They don't, thankfully. Although I haven't lived there for so long, I don't know now.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing.
So for me, it was really Japanese pro wrestling that got me into Japanese culture, and I saw you done the Wrestle Kingdom event. How did that come about?
Oh, with Tanahashi.
That Tanahashi, yeah.
Yeah, that was how did that come about?
I think it was 2014 or 13.
I remember the event very well. It was at the Tokyo Dome, and it was a championship match. And of course, when you're doing it, you don't know whether he's going to win or lose. But we did something before and after it where it was he and I just going through the entire Tokyo Dome. I was playing real guitar and he was playing air guitar. That's what it is. That's what it is. He's like, part of his thing is he does this air guitar thing.
Ah, right.
When he wrestles or before a match or something, and so he asked me to play the song that he air guitars to, and then have me play a bunch of guitar and just jam at the championship. And if he wins, do another thing after it's over.
Yeah.
And so just watching him do that, it was just mind-blowing how much stamina and how much power these guys have.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of whether any of it's choreographed or not, the amount of stamina and absolute kick-ass power they have was just so incredibly cool to watch. And, I like to be active when I play. I like to get excited and jump around and be athletic. And so like when I see guys do that, I'm like, wow, I dig it. So
yeah, you appreciate it.
Appreciate the amount of training and power that goes into it. So it was an absolute fantastic gig, and still waiting to get the call to do it again, because I'd be there in a second.
Yeah, because I watched like a few dozen shows when I was out there, and just seeing it up close, like what they put their bodies through, is just crazy to me.
Yeah, he's in super shape. I mean, we went out to eat afterwards, and guy eats really healthy.
Wow.
and he's just like ideal shape. I mean, perfect shape guy. And so that's a real dedication.
And even the women too. I watch probably the women's more than the men, and they're even as rough and tough. And
yeah, it's a real professional world out there.
Yeah, and they seem to have more respect for their talent than I think American WWE and all that stuff.
I don't know too much about wrestling in general, but there's a different mindset when it comes to sports, when it comes to like winning a sport. Like when I grew up in America, it was like if you win, you're high-fiving everybody and jumping around like a maniac. And in Japan, if you win something, the more subdued you are, the
Yeah.
cooler it is. And I think that's just so cool of a concept, because if you're subdued and cool after you won, it's like you have so much confidence. It's like you knew you were going to win anyway. It's just so much cooler than acting like, oh, it's so fantastic. I can't believe I won. I'm so stoked. I'm so crazy. Look at me. Look at me. It's like these guys like shrug it off. I mean, if you go to a sumo match, guys win these huge matches and they're like, okay, I know, let's go
like
get something to eat. Whatever. I mean, it just seems, it's very manly, so to speak. And it's just a different mindset. And somebody turned me on to that's why they do that. I'm like, this guy just won this big thing. Why isn't he going crazy? It's like, it's not cool to go crazy after you win something.
And even the fans at rock shows, they're kind of subdued during the performance, but once the performance stops, like a song, then they'll erupt.
It's because they paid good money. They want to hear the music. They want to hear every little detail, and they want to see exactly how it's played, and they want to see which songs are in which order, and they want to hear things in detail that they don't hear at home when they're listening to their headphones or whatever. So, and then when the song's over, they make a lot of noise and go wild and stuff, but they're listening. And as when you're playing, it's wonderful because you know that they're listening and they care, but it's also kind of nerve-wracking at first because they're going to hear every little detail. So if you have like some kind of you mess something up. I remember one time I don't remember who it was, somebody in the band, my band, played something wrong, or I forgot what it was, but the next day I was live on the radio, and somebody who's at the show the night before called in and said, on the third song, one of you guys played something different in the chorus. Then it just seemed like wrong. Did one of you guys make a mistake? I'm like, God.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, they're listening, man. So I grew to really, really like that, but at first I was really a bit nervous about it.
And that's kind of another dying thing abroad, is that whenever you go to a show now, everybody's just there holding their phones. They're not involved in the performance.
Well, that's another whole thing. It's not done here. I mean, actually, depending on the venue, sometimes people sneak that stuff in there, but for the very most part, it's strictly prohibited, and it's less for bootlegging reasons, and it's more reasons of typical Japanese manners. In Japan, it's really important not to make bother for other people and not jam other people up. So the main thing that sucks about phones is, like, if you're watching a concert and someone in front of you has their phone up there, it's very distracting. So thankfully, at the majority of gigs when you play here, there's no phones, and occasionally there's one somewhere, but it's not like the sea of phones you get when you're in America or something.
That's one of the reasons I actually stopped going to gigs. I was just sick of people holding up phones. It just drove me crazy.
I get it. I totally get it.
So you've done a ton of work in Japan, and there's kind of this legendary clip of you and Paul Gilbert together on a show. When was the first time you met Paul?
Oh, wow. I've known Paul forever. Even back in the Shrapnel days. On the show I did a long time ago, Paul came on a couple times, and it was always great to have him on there. And super player and super guy, really easy to get to do crazy things, because the show that we did was there was a lot of joking around and a lot of taking the piss at things, and if you're like a really serious musician type, it's not going to be the type of show to go on, because we were just basically making fun of everything, but with all the best intentions. But it was kind of almost like British humor in a way, that it's very it's kind of can get nasty sometimes, but it's all still with good heart. But it's like, it's funny, you know what I mean?
Like friendly roasting.
Yeah, a lot of that. So and a lot of taking the piss at yourself. And so if you're try to go on a show like that and you have an agenda promoting your record or whatever, tour, whatever, if that's just what it is, it won't work. But Paul was really good about just going with the flow. And, there's a lot of silly game playing and stuff and typical Japanese stuff. But it was a good show. We had a lot of really cool guests on that show. And
did you and Paul ever talk about doing a tour or doing something together? Because it seems kind of a natural fit, the two of you.
We probably have. We actually just played at the same event this year in Norway, Norway Guitar Festival in March, and we probably have. I mean, it's so many things that I don't even remember.
So there's never been like a sort of G3 kind of talk with you two guys and somebody else or anything?
Not that I can immediately think of, but we've probably done an event or something together. And
I was going to ask you about Buckethead, whether you were aware of Buckethead or not, because we do a lot of stuff on our channel about him.
Not really. I know I've heard his music before, but I don't know him, and I've never crossed paths with him. Super guitar player, though, that's for sure.
So you've never considered like putting a bucket on or mask or getting some nunchucks or anything?
No, I'm not. I'm not really that crazy.
Right, yeah.
But it works for him, and what I heard him play was really super. So it's all good.
Yeah. And just quickly, obviously, you were in Megadeth, and Dave Mustaine currently has his illness. Are you still in contact with Dave, or you kind of?
I'm in contact with all those guys all the time, and they're all fantastic, and love them all like brothers.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we get to chat a bit longer next time, and we can go in depth on some things. It was great to talk to you, and thank you very much.
Likewise, thank you very much. Hope to talk to you soon. Take care.
And you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.